Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art a holy people unto the Lord Yahweh thy power. The Lord Yahweh thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and the Son Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Maharakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. GMS Arkansas coming with this lesson. The nation of Israel, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, through the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, have received a covenant of being the Lord's holy people and are going to receive a heavenly, eternal blessing of life. Okay? Now, on the screen, you see a picture of a face of hatred and jealousy. This picture equates with the other nations, okay? Because they are not the chosen of the Heavenly Father. And these other nations have basically band together to basically try to put us into ruin. Let's go to Psalms 83rd chapter, which we have all read this scripture before. Okay, Psalms 83. All right. It says, "For thy enemies make a tumult, and they that have hated thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, the people of Israel, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more remembrance." Okay, and this is heavy because they really want to do away with us. Okay, they're contrary. They walk contrary to the Heavenly Father's counsel, and the Heavenly Father has given His counsel to a special people. Right. And it says, "For they have consulted together with one consent; they are confederate against thee." These particular people are in alliance with each other. They have been in alliance with each other, and more so in 2020. Okay, which you have what's called NATO. Okay, they're coming together. You have what you call the UN, United Nations. When you go there to the United Nations, all these countries have a representative except for the nation of Israel. Okay, so that lets you know that they're banding together against us. Now it goes into the tabernacles of the people who are at league together. Okay, the tabernacles of Edom. Edom comes from Esau, which he is the father of what, the Edomites. Okay. Now dealing with Edom, okay, the reason you see them being part of this is because they have a disdain for us and a perpetual hatred. Let's show it to you. There is a perpetual hatred that Edom has against us. Ezekiel 35:1. "Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it." Seir represents Esau. "And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel, by the force of the sword in the time of their calamities, and in the time of that their iniquity had an end." Okay, so you basically, through our calamities and our captivities, the Heavenly Father has basically punished us. But guess what you did? Through him putting you to base a man over us, you basically overdid it. Zechariah 1:15, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. So you basically went overboard, okay? You went overboard, and you have had that perpetual hatred, okay? So that perpetual hatred is like an everlasting hatred. It's a continual hatred. It's never going to stop until the Heavenly Father knocks you out of your rulership. Okay? You are who the enmity came through. The enmity came through you all the way back here uh, when you came in, when your spirit came as Cain. Okay, let me read that. It says, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and he said, I have got me a man from the Lord, Yahweh. And she bare his brother Abel. Okay, and Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the field. So he was a cultivator, and Abel was a shepherd. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of fruit of the ground of the offering of the Lord Yahweh. And Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respected unto Abel and his offering. See, the Lord gave respect to Abel. Okay? Cain represents you Edomites today, and Abel represents the nation of Israel. It says, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord Yahweh came unto Cain, why art thou wroth? Why is thy countenance fallen? Okay? If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted. But if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall he be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. So if you don't do well, sin gonna lie at your door. Okay? And that sin gonna cause you to do something that you basically don't want to do. It's gonna cause you to commit abomination. Now, what was the ultimate sacrifice? They sacrificed the firstling. You gotta remember, Yahweh Shah was also a sacrifice to the nation. Okay, that sin offering. Because you go into the sin offering, what was it when you put the sins of Israel on a goat and you send them into the forest, you send them away. But Yahweh Shah took on all the sins of Israel and was hung on a cross. Okay, so if you sinning, guess what? If sin is at the door, then if you knew you're gonna be punished, then you're not gonna open the door. But Yahweh Shah said, he said this in Revelations. I think is it 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me. So Yahweh Shai said it. If you knock at that door, you come sup with me. But guess what? Cain, he wasn't about righteous, man. He was bred to be the wicked. So him, if you know you're not gonna answer that door, if you know sin lies at the door, and the Lord said answer, because he was the ultimate sacrifice. It says, and Cain took with his brother, he took with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. So he killed him. Okay? And the Lord Yahweh said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? So right now, he already murdered him, right? But then he come with a lie. The Heavenly Father already know. This is like being on court. Am I my brother's keeper? All you had to do was be humble and say what? Hey, I murdered my brother. But he didn't want to be humble. He wanted to lead with that murder with the lie, man. Okay? because he was jealous, right? He hated the offering that his brother gave. He hated the Heavenly Father for liking that offering that his brother gave. And this mindset has been with the Edomites ever since, man. Okay? This is why when it goes back to the perpetual hatred, when it goes all the way back to them trying to make Israel no more remembrance. You gotta remember, Edom, Esau, you were the first of this enmity. Okay? And you were the firstborn. You the firstborn. You basically supposed to have been taking care of your little brother. Okay? But yeah, you killed him. You were the firstborn, man. Let me show you. Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. And this is Isaac, because he was married to Rebekah. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Why is this happening inside of me? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So whoever come out first, gonna serve the younger. And when her days were to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. It didn't say he was hairy, it said he was red all over like a hairy garment. Because in the ancient world, they used to use this red dye to dye those badger skins. Okay? Those hairy badger skins. So they're showing you the analogy like he's red like that hairy garment. And they call his name Esau. Ashashua wasted away his heat. Okay? And after that came out his brother out, and his brother hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Jacob means to plant. And that hand taking the heel meaning it's symbolic of us bringing them down. Okay? And Isaac was 80 old when he bare them. All right? So Esau, you were the older brother. Just like Cain was the older of Abel back then. Okay? You were the firstborn. In both instances, your spirit came in Cain, then the spirit came back in Esau. Okay? When it was in Cain, he had that same color as what? The same color as everybody else. It was dark skin brown, the light skin brown, dark skin brown, but he was brown like everybody else. But the Lord put a distinctive mark on him that they would know. Okay? People would know when they see him. Okay? Just like back in the ancient world, when people were thieves or malefactors, they would put they would burn a mark on their cheek. So if you saw a man walking around with a burnt mark on his cheek, you would know that he was a thief. So the Lord put a mark on Cain, a distinctive mark that they would know, people would know who he was, and to stay away from that person, man. So Esau, you could see where in Psalms 83, you are basically the head of this. You're the head of this confederate against Israel. You have had these other nations join with you. Okay, you have had them join with you, man. It says in the Ishmaelites, Ishmael, you got a little persecuting spirit about you, about us as well, the Israelites. You see that? You are who they call the so-called Arabs today. You in our neighborhoods, the scriptures say in Deuteronomy 28, around 43, that you would come over and get a head. We would be the tail. You be the head and we would be the tail. You come over, you got the bodegas, the little grocery stores. Okay? You basically, when you see us, man, you display your hatred a lot. But you know we have Israelites that are within that have grew up as thinking they're Ishmaelites, and when you can see them sometimes, because sometimes you get treated. You see Ishmael. Sometimes they act just like Jake, and then they'll treat you as a brother sometimes. But then you got some that try to treat you all cold. You know, they look at you like, why you in here? But see, they have a little hatred, persecuted hatred because of, you got to remember back Abraham, he had Hagar and had Ishmael, okay, but he had Sarah and he had Isaac, and that blessing didn't go to Ishmael; it went to Isaac, the son of the promise. He was the son of what? The bondwoman. Let's go there. Genesis 21. Uh, let's see here. Right here it says, in 9, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which she had born unto him, unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son. Okay, because her son was Ishmael. Okay. Let's go back. Because her son was Ishmael, I believe. Let me show you. Um, let's see. Let me type this in. Ishmael. Okay. Let me go back. 1920. Is it right here? Well, I was at 21. Well, let me see here. Let me type it in like this then. Hagar. Boom. Okay. Verse Genesis 16:1. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare no children, and she had a handmaid named Egyptian named Hagar. Okay. Verse 3. And Sarah, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram, and dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be wife. And he went into Hagar, meaning he had sex, and they conceived. And when she saw she had conceived, her mistress was despised in the eyes. Okay? Now, let me show you what the name of the kid was. I'm going to go to that passage. Go straight to that passage. Okay. Then she conceived. What's his name, man? I'm trying to find his name. Okay, and Hagar bare Abraham a son 15, and Abram called his son with Hagar bare Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when he bare Ishmael to Abram. Okay, he was he was supposed to be a wild. It said what the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou 16:11, thou art with child, thou shalt bear a son, thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord have heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man, and his hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Okay, Ishmael. Now he has that little persecuting hate against us. Okay, when you go to 21:10, okay, this is one of the main reasons. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Egyptian, which he had born unto Abram, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abram, Cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. And the thing was very grievous unto Abraham's sight because of his son. It was his first son. And the Most High said unto Abraham, Yahweh, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. In all that Sarah have, she said unto thee, hearken unto her voice. For Isaac shall be the seed, Isaac shall be thy seed, and thy seed be called. Okay. Okay, the damn phone froze. Salaki, the phone froze on me. Okay. It says also, the son of the bondwoman will make a nation because he is thy seed. These are Arabs. Okay, they will be a great nation. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast her son under one of the shrubs. And she went and set her down over against him a good way off, and as it were a bow shot, for she said, Let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted her voice and wept. You see that? And God heard the voice of the lad, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of the heaven and said unto her, What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for the Most High have heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise up, the lad, and hold him in thy hand, for I will make him a great nation. And that's what he did. But you're not the nation of the promise. So this is the reason why Ishmael got that little persecuting spirit against the Israelites. Okay? So now you can see where it says, they said, let's come and let us make it where Israel be no more remembrance. They all took confederate as the tabernacles of Edom and Ishmael. Okay? You can see that. I know my phone is freezing up. Phone is freezing. Okay? Moab and the Hagarenes, Moab, Gabal, the border, and Ammon. See, Moab and Ammon were the grandkids of who? Lot. Okay? Which they were incest kids. So that blessing didn't go to them. But guess what? They have a disdain against the nation of Israel too. The little Moab, Chinese, and Japanese. Because they're not the chosen. But guess what? You think Lot, you think Lot, it would disappoint Lot to know that he could not even dream of his ancestry in this day being a disdain against his uncle's generation for their prosperity. Okay? If people always say, man, he turning over in his grave. Okay? You got, it says Ammon and Amalek, Amalek being the chief house of Israel. Okay? the Edomites, and the Philistines, okay? The Philistines as well, okay? The Philistines got that hate against us. Because the Philistines, when you read in, what did they do to Samson? Okay? The Philistines, they basically, I think it's, is it 20? Where they blinded Samson? The Philistines got that disdain against us as well. I think they blinded Samson. Uh, let's go to 21. 21, let's see if that's it. Is that it? Or is it, wait a minute, is it 16? Judges, is it 16? It might be 16. Yeah, 16. Let me find it right here. Because Delilah was trying to figure out what made Samson weak, because she was basically like setting him up. Every time she tell him the Philistines were coming, he'd tell her something that this make me weak, but he would break away. And then she finally found out. Let me see. It says, and when Delilah, I started 18, and when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money to her, right? Because he had told her about the razor. He had been a Nazarite and shaved his strength, his hair, okay? Because they couldn't basically trap him. Because see, he had married one of their nations of women. Okay, he had Samson had killed 3,000 with a jawbone, so he wanted to have him, man. The Philistines have always had a little disdain, a little persecuted hate against Israel as well. And it says, verse 2, let's see here. She made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for the man, and she caused him to shave off his 7 locks of his head, and she began to afflict him with his strength went from him. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. He awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out at other times before and shake myself, and wist not that the Lord Yahweh was departed from him. But the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with feathers of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. Then the lords of the Philistines gathered them together for to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon their God, and to rejoice. For they said, our God hath delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hand. And when the people saw him, they praised their God. For they said, O God hath delivered unto our hands our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, which slew many of us, because Samson was tearing their ass up. And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, they said, call for Samson, that he may make us sport. And they called for Samson out of the prison house. And he made them sport, and they sat between the pillars. And Samson said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me not that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house standeth, that I may lean upon them. Now the house, because remember, he couldn't see, he was blind. Now the house was full with and women, and the lords of the Philistines were there, and there were upon the roof about 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport. And Samson called unto the Lord Yahweh and said, O Yahweh, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O Yahweh, that I may be at once avenged upon the Philistine for my 2 eyes. And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house stood, and on which it were borne up, of one which his right hand and the other his left. And Samson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he bowed himself with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords and upon the people that were therein. So the dead which he slew at his death were more than which he slew in his life. So he slew 1,000 with the jawbone, and he slew at least 3,000 at his death. So these Philistines have they have a disdain against Israel as well. Okay, they have a disdain against us, man. And then you gotta remember when you read in 2 Samuel, you can read it yourself. When you read in 2 Samuel, like the fourth chapter, it was a fight with Israel and the Philistines, and the Philistines basically defeated us. Okay, and they basically they took the ark. Okay, they took the Ark of the Covenant, and then they sinned with it in chapter 5 when you read in 1 Samuel 5. So therefore, the Lord, destroyed them. So this is why you see that they have a disdain for us. When you read Psalms 83, they're part of that Confederate, because they've had their history with us as well. It says Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, and the inhabitants of Tyre. You gotta remember the Tyre were with Hiram. They helped build the temple. Okay, they helped build the temple, but yet in the same sense, they wanted to help destroy it. Ashur also joined with them. They have hopen of the children of Lot, Salah. So when you read those tabernacles of Edom, you were of the first of Anemone. You were our older brother. You were supposed to be our caretaker. The older brother's supposed to look after his younger brother, but yet in that time of Cain, you killed us. And then Esau, you being coming back as Esau, you've always put your foot on our neck when it was time. Okay, when you always had the chance. And you're doing it now. The earth is given into your hands, and you're still doing it. Plus, you have put these other nations who were in league with you right here. You have put them in positions in our society to get ahead of us. So therefore, the disdain that they have had, the ancient disdain that they have had way back then, they're going to continue to push forward with that same hatred that they had that was spiritual, and the things they did back in the ancient world. Okay. So that's why you have they have made Confederate, and the Heavenly Father is going to destroy them. Soon come, he's going to take the crowns, pursuing the Revelation 19 and 10 and 11 and 12. Yahweh Shai is coming back, and he's coming back to set the order. Okay, so keep on with the jealousy and hatred, because it's all going to turn, and you're going to be paid back double for the hatred that you showed on us. With that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the election of Israel. Call Lahim La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Wahara Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. GMS Arkansas. To the next time. Shalom.